Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob, with the special guest right over here.
Oh, yes! You got the wrong side. He's that side.
That
It gets all confusing when discombobulated when you turn things around with the mirroring of the camera there. But we have Ryan from Ryan's Big Blue Podcast. What's up, man?
What's up? Excited to be on. Always watching the show, tuning in, and excited to be a guest on here. I know you had Tim on a few weeks ago.
You scared him off already. What the hell?
Oh, man.
We have you on a show as a guest in just 30 seconds, and you're scaring Rob off. And I see our comment section already going crazy here. First off, it's funny because Deb says they usually blame it on the guest, but I guess they can't do that for this one. No, we don't blame it on the guest. We blame it on Rob.
It's always me. I'm the scapegoat. It's cool.
Listen, I have someone to validate now that you showed up to the 9 o'clock podcast at 9:05.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes late.
And I told him as we're in the back room waiting for you, I said, it's okay. Rob's always 5 minutes late.
Apology wasn't going to fault itself.
Validation, guys. All right, so today we're going to go over our outlook on all the players on offense for you guys. We always like to do that every year before the season starts. And it's going to be a little fun this year because there actually is a little bit of optimism. Optimism. Ooh, haven't had that in a while.
It's a big word.
Finally.
Optimism and a Giants podcast. Those words don't typically go hand in hand. But they do now. Because there's hope. Because we haven't played a game yet. We can still hope. And with that, of course, we got to talk about the breaking news that happened today. Of course, the Micah Parsons going off to the Green Bay Packers. Spoiler alert, we probably should have saved that in case you hadn't heard. But we can't help ourselves. We can't help ourselves. So let's get right into it, guys. Alrighty. So let's see. Jay says your mic sounds off or not right. Let's see.
Who's that? Me or Drew?
Which one?
Or me.
There's 3 people. I just checked my settings. They say they're correct. So everybody check your settings.
Yeah. The settings here.
See,
Settings says it's set.
We are. We have a guest. We have to be nice. He says Dre. There's no Dr. Dre here. Then he says it's UJ. Oh, Deb says it's UJ. So there we go. Okay, we're good. He says echo, booming. Maybe I have just a booming mic. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? You know. Anyway, we're going to do the rest of the show like this to keep Jay happy. So, guys, let's talk about the big trade here. So, Micah Parsons, we've talked about this a little bit on the show, where he's basically wanted a new contract. There's all kinds of allegations that got thrown out, basically him saying that basically Jerry Jones was trying to go around the agent and just go ahead and do a one-on-one with him and get this whole deal done. And obviously Micah Parsons didn't like that. Let's be honest, Jerry Jones has some issues as a GM. And as Giant fans, we love it. We absolutely love it. Stay for life, Jerry. Hope you live a long, long life. Okay.
Well, he has. That's the problem.
I know. He's like the Al Davis now of the NFC. Like, remember when Al Davis was like just drafting the fastest player in the draft? Like, that's what it basically was. Like, it's absolutely insanity. So this has been going on now for a while. The last preseason game, literally, Micah Parsons was lying down saying he hurt his back. The last preseason game, like it's gotten embarrassing point blank for the Cowboys. And say what you want about Jerry, and we talk trash about him all the time because, quite frankly, he's a joke at this point. But the man loves his team, and I think that was kind of a hit to the ego. There was all rumors the last couple of days that the Packers were looking to go ahead and get Micah Parsons, and that Cowboys didn't really want to go ahead and make that trade because Packers have taken them out of the playoffs like 3 of the last 10 years, like that. So trade happened though today, guys. Absolutely craziness here. Micah Parsons is officially out of the NFC East, gone to the Packers, and guys, this is going to be easily one of those trades that years later we're going to look back and go, this was either the worst trade they could have possibly made, or I'll throw it as an option because Jerry's kind of suggesting it. He's suggesting it's like the next like Herschel Walker trade at that point for the Cowboys. I don't see that happening. They ended up getting 2 first-round picks along with Kenny Clark, which I got to say, Kenny Clark, guys, is a good defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Like,
he's getting older, but
he's getting a little long in the tooth there. Deb's bringing the politics in the chat.
Yeah.
Deb, you know the rules.
So funny.
It is hilarious, but it's just but yeah. So listen, Kenny Clark again, good player, 3-time Pro Bowler. He is a good player, and I think the Giants would have taken. Let's be honest, we would take him in a heartbeat on their team. So let's not suggest otherwise for a second here. Okay, that's the kind of player he is. He ain't no Micah Parsons.
No, I think the way the Cowboys handled this whole situation was terrible because if you knew, I mean, you should have traded him in March if you were going to trade him. I know they were trying to get a contract done, and now this whole situation just kept getting worse and worse throughout these past few months. But you also trade him to the Packers where you get these 2 firsts, but at best, what are these first rounders going to be? Not above pick 20. I don't think they're going to be any higher than that. So to me, I don't see it being like the Herschel Walker trade. And I think it's just, shows how bad of an owner Jerry Jones is and just confirms it.
Well, he's a great owner. Stick around, Jerry. Stick around, Jerry.
But
here we go.
Great owner.
But, Drew and I were talking offline, like right when this trade happened, like, we called each other and you have to think about it too. You get 2 first-round picks, right? It gives you draft capital. You may not take those picks to make the picks, but you may use those picks to trade up for a pick, which makes sense for the Cowboys if they want another quarterback, right? Because Dak's getting up there in age. And you want to get rid of the old man Dak, if you will, like, and have him going off, right into the sunset, if you will.
Yeah.
On his high horse. But you also got to think about, like, Green Bay as well. Like, they usually don't sign these big contracts. They typically rely on their farm, if you will.
Yeah.
And it shows Green Bay. I mean, the division they're in as well. Get away from the East, but, like, look at the North. They have to go Detroit twice a year. They have to go against Minnesota twice a year. I mean, do you really have to consider Chicago a big threat? But, I mean,
Chicago.
But this year they're saying Cleve is coming too. I mean, how much after that? But so they're making preparations in their division to play better against these high-power offenses. At least what's supposed to be high-power offenses. And now we have to look at it like down the road for us. Like, does the Cowboys actually get a good quarterback in the next couple of years using these draft picks? Do they pick up like a lot of new talent, young talent at a cheap rate that's going to be around for the next 10 years? Or 5 to 10 years. Sorry, trend.
And this is, like you said, exactly what you and I talked about. We called each other up and we saw this trade because Dak Prescott, guys, for those who aren't aware of how those contract works, they basically have to keep him next year because of the cap. And we're talking again next year being 26, not the upcoming 25. The other option is they can do a post-June 1st cut on him, basically break even, which doesn't make much sense. But it means you can go ahead and you have 2 first-round picks in 26, 2 in 27 now. And you could potentially trade up, get a quarterback in a very quarterback-rich draft here to go ahead and get your quarterback of the future. So that's the one thing that I'm like, okay, I can kind of see the plan here to a certain degree because this is, again, supposedly going to be that kind of draft. We'll find out. We never know until – always the next draft is the quarterback-rich draft every year. This is the one, except, of course, with the year of Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis. We knew that was crap. But otherwise, every single year, the next year is the year of quarterbacks. The next year, this is the next year. Even with the great class we had of rookies quarterbacks last year, people were talking up to the draft like, oh, maybe these guys aren't as good as we think they are. Next year is going to be a great year. Like, every goddamn year. So here's what I think about, though. If they're not doing that, and again, we don't know what's in Jerry's head. I don't think Jerry knows what the hell's in Jerry's head half the time. But it's mostly black and white cartoons of Mickey Mouse and the Steamboat with that.
I was about to say Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, exactly. But if you go back into the guys that they've gotten in their first-round picks, and I'm talking about the Packers here, this is what you're potentially basically trading to go ahead and get Micah Parsons. Again, along with Kenny Clark, who's a good player. This year, first-round pick, Matthew Golden, who Ryan, I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't put words in your mouth, but Rob and I point blank said he'd be the bust of this draft potentially. Like, we did not like him at all. Like, just didn't produce in the field. Great athletic guy, just didn't produce in the field.
Yeah, I agree.
Year before that, Jordan Morgan. A year before that, Luke Van Ness, who's probably going to lose snaps to Micah Parsons, let's be honest. Year before that, the latter pick, I'm using pick 28, Devontae Wyatt, another defensive end. Would you trade Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, Matthew Golden, and Jordan Morgan?
No. But the thing with that is, with the Cowboys, I don't know who. Obviously, we don't know who they're gonna, is even coming out in the draft really, like, necessarily yet.
Yeah.
When they have these two picks, we don't know how these two picks are gonna turn out. And with the way you presented that trade, definitely not. That's terrible, and that's the concern, because you're looking at it like that. They traded him for pretty much scrubs and a guy that you have low hopes on, but you don't know how he's going to be yet with Matthew Golden. But even if they end up using these two picks and trading up for a quarterback that they think could be their franchise quarterback, you don't know if he ends up being the guy. With Parsons, he was a clear generational talent, and you just pretty much gave him away.
Yeah. And that's what it's all going to be about, is if they use that move to get a quarterback of the future and that guy pans out, then I can see Dallas being, okay, this was the right move.
Yeah.
Look who we got. He's the quarterback for the next 10 years, whatever the case may be.
And then you didn't have to pay Parsons that crazy contract.
Yes, which the Packers, by the way, are front-loading the hell out of, because they have the cap space.
Big time.
So that's a big part, as we should say as well. But like I said, just from a Cowboys
was it $62 million first year?
Something like that the first year. So it's insane. Like, they're just
out of $188 million?
So
nuts.
Yeah. So guys, it's going to take probably 5 years to know if this was a good trade, based on if they go ahead and get a quarterback with those draft picks. Now, if they just get regular players, I think it's safe to say that there's no way in hell the Cowboys win this.
It depends. Exactly. It depends how they use this. Like,
yeah,
do the Cowboys stink? Do they get 6 wins this year, get a good draft pick? And then, because now Green Bay has Parsons, they typically make the playoffs, or pretty close to it almost every year. Do they give them pick 18? Do they give him pick 30? Like, where does Green Bay go? Yeah,
and that's the thing, though. The Packers are always that playoff team. Like it's been like what,
close to it.
Like 30 years they haven't gotten to the playoffs. So it's like, you're not getting great picks in this.
I mean, even look at them last year, right? So you had the best team in the NFC last year, and then you had the best wild card pick in that division, and the Green Bay still made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, so even still, like last year, like, what were they? What was the draft pick? 22 or something like that? 23?
24 or something like that.
Yeah. So, to give that up in the first round, and let's see what Dallas says. Like, do they tank this year? Is that what they're like? Is this what we're going to expect?
Yeah.
But you just paid Dak so much, so you can't really expect that. But, like, where do they draft? So, like, if they get, another 10 wins this year, where does that leave them in the draft picks? So you're going to trade up round first pick at 16 and then 28. How far ahead are you going to get?
All I know is I am feeling a lot more confident going into week 2.
Straight.
That's exactly what I said to Drew earlier.
And here's a really interesting wrinkle to this for me. Micah Parsons literally went back to Jerry before this trade happened and said, let's get this done. And the Cowboys went back to him and said, play year 5 or you're gone. That's literally what they said to him. And that's according to Adam Schefter. Like, I'm paraphrasing. That wasn't the exact verbiage, obviously. But that's insanity. Like, the guy literally wanted to play for you, one of the best pass rushers in the game. Regardless of what you think of the Cowboys, let's be honest here. That's insanity.
That notification, I like, these past few days, it seemed more and more like that account with the red hat, Ricky. He's reporting this, and now he's confirmed, a legit source. But I never really thought this was actually going to happen. When I got the notification, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear a whole bunch of rumors this time of year, like
Yeah.
who's going to trade where, and especially when you're talking about one of the best defensive players out there. Like,
Yeah.
of course, there's going to be trade talk, especially like build onto this dilemma. Even if there wasn't any like
Like with
hardship.
McLaurin,
Yeah.
McLaurin ended up staying. So I thought it was just kind of
Yeah.
going to be the same thing, but
Well, you are
he
getting
ended
2
up getting-
first-round picks and Kenny Clark from McLaurin. Let me just be
Yeah,
clear on
no.
Yeah,
that. It's a slight difference in the abilities there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. So we'll have to see what happens in that. Time will tell. Overall, I mean, everything on paper you think you know in the beginning, and they go, "Oh, what the hell?" Like same as the Giants, we were pissed when we got from the Browns in the end for the OBJ trade. Looking back on it, we got Dexter Lawrence. We won that deal.
Yeah.
You just never know. You hit one player out of that group, and next thing you know, you got something. So we'll see. All I know is this Giants offensive line should be able to handle those Cowboys week 2.
Yeah, I saw their lineup on defense now without
It's
Parsons.
bad.
It looks awful.
oh,
It's
it's
bad.
terrible.
I mean,
Listen.
really, besides the corners, they have nothing on defense at this point there. And one of those corners is so banged up, we don't even know what's left of them.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into talking about the Giants here now. We got to talk about that since that was the big news there in the NFL today. But let's go over the outcome here and what we think is going to happen with the offensive players here for the New York Football Giants. Obviously, it all starts off with the quarterbacks. And the starting quarterback, much to the chagrin of certain people I see in the chat here, is Russell Wilson, of course. So let's talk about Russ. So last year, 11 games, 63.7 completion percentage, 2,482 yards. He ended up with 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Guys, I honestly kind of expect kind of similar.
Yeah.
I expect a little bit of an uptick because of Nabers. I think the Nabers effect will be there.
Yes, agreed. And let's be real. Like, I think Najee Harris is a little bit overrated from where he was drafted. So I think you do have maybe a little bit of uptick in Tracy than Najee. And like they try to do like the whole dual thing in the backfield with the similar style run and Pittsburgh, and it didn't really work out so well for him. And their offense was very vanilla. Say the best.
They were the MetLife of offenses.
Pretty much. It's amazing how they turned out as many wins as they did last year.
Yeah. And the thing you got to keep in mind with Russell Wilson last year was he did that in 11 games. He missed, I believe, it was the first 5 games of the season, or maybe 6. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he only played in 11 games, and he put up those numbers. You could be looking at something similar with the Giants here because you don't know when Jaxson Dart's going to come in. There's a chance it's around like that week 12 point. You don't know. So let's say he, in 11 games again, like you said, I could see it very similar with, maybe the yards up slightly and, a few more touchdowns because of the Malik Nabers being in that receiving room. But I could see him playing a similar amount of games this year as he did last year, but for different reasons compared to what happened with Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah. And like I said, I think he'll have an uptick a little bit in production because of Nabers. Maybe you look at what he did the first couple of games when he got in with Pittsburgh. 264 yards, 278 yards, 195 yards, 205, and then 270, and then 414 against the Bengals, which against the Bengals, so But
Yeah,
I mean,
one of the worst defenses in the league.
Started off good. And then all of a sudden, 158, 128, 217, 205, 148, like it just tailed off. But like you guys said, they wanted to run the ball more. He got into arguments with the offensive coordinator. We had the issue, obviously, of the injury as well as Pickens, who's, of course, now on the Cowboys there. I don't know what to think at this point of him because I want to hope that we can get a semblance of what he was in Seattle. But I don't think that's realistic to think at this point. I mean, we're talking 3 years removed from his time in Seattle, and we haven't seen that really.
So just to nitpick off that, right? So Seattle, obviously, like Pete Carroll, sneaky Pete. We all know what I think about Pete Carroll. Guy knows how to build teams and how to utilize the best out of his players.
Yep.
He goes over to Denver. They try to make things work. Sean Payton gets there. Not a fan. Kicks him out. he goes over to the Steelers, who has been in a rough patch. Like let's be frank, like the Broncos have been in a rough patch for the past 10 years since Tebow. Yeah, since Payne left. You got the Steelers where they've been in a rough patch. So it's pretty much it's Big Ben the second last year.
They've been an average patch.
Yeah, they just stay above the 500 mark.
9-8, 9-7 team.
They just find a way to be above 500. Like they just find a way to do it. Just whatever it is. It's not beautiful. It's like it is some terrible football where they win games. Like let's just be real. It is what it is. You also have Arthur Smith as your offensive head coach, your OC there, and who is terrible. Let's be real. He's terrible. So let's see what he can do now with Brian Daboll and Kafka. So like maybe the past 3 years isn't the worst 3 years that he's gonna have. Or I'm sorry, is the worst 3 years he's gonna have before he retires?
I kind of look at also the second year he had in Denver. Remember the first year was horrendous. The second year, he was a whole lot better. They benched in the last couple games. 15 games, 66% completion, 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I think he's probably somewhere between those 2 years, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. I've been when they first signed Russell Wilson, I was one of the people who actually liked it a lot more than some of the other fans. It's a big upgrade over what we had in the past. But as we've gotten through camp, I haven't really changed my opinion on that. I've just been more in favor of, being fine with seeing Jaxson Dart early in the season. Like not, I'm not trying to rush him out there, but I think the best way to develop is play. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me with that, but for me, I've been more of an advocate lately for Jaxson Dart playing, as early as he can, without, really just rushing him in there. But I still don't think Russell Wilson is, terrible. And I think that's where people, misconstrued what I'm saying. But I agree with you with your point. I think somewhere between there, if he plays, enough games to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all what it was. I'll say this, and I know we're probably going to upset some people like Anthony and Jay in the chat here when I say this, but it is what it is. In an ideal world, there's no need to see Jaxson Dart right now. Like, there's no need, because if Russell Wilson is playing well, let's be very frank at this, Jaxson Dart is not coming out anytime soon.
No, and especially because, I mean, granted, we're in the division that has the return Super Bowl champs, right? We thought we're probably not going to beat them for the division. Very improbable. And like a week ago,
I don't want to say very improbable because you just never know year to year. It's unlikely. I don't want to say very improbable because that makes it seem like it's like David and Goliath. Like I don't know.
My only concern, though.
But what I was saying is like, all right, it's high. It's year to year, but you're return Super Bowl champs. You gotta pay a little respect. Dallas, we looked at, who also had our number, right? So it's hard to win those two, get those wins between those guys there, right? So that's 4 losses pretty much year after year after year. Michael Parsons is gone. That's one of the biggest challenges we had. So like now, like it changes the outcome of this division. Plus, the Commanders were the Commanders have been good too, but like we've typically had the Commanders number.
Yeah.
Brand new team.
Yeah. My only concern is if Russell Wilson, let's say he's playing decent enough and the Giants win somewhere between 8 to 9 games, and Jaxson Dart doesn't come in at all because they're fighting for a wild card spot throughout the whole season, and they end up finishing the season 8-9 or 9-8, just missing the playoffs. My concern would be they did all that. You didn't learn anything about your rookie quarterback. Oh, vacuum salesman. There's the Jay Farias joke.
Yeah, Jay saying Rob didn't become one of the best vacuum salesmen on the planet watching from the sidelines. I gotta say, that is a nice thing for him to say about you, Rob. He didn't say the state. He didn't say the country. He didn't say North America. No, he said the planet.
I appreciate that.
But yes, like that's my only thing. If you don't see Jaxson Dart, but you end up having this mediocre season where you barely missed the playoffs, 8 to 9 wins. You didn't learn much about your rookie quarterback in this season. Then you're going into the next season with some question marks, and at that point you don't know if Brian Daboll or Joe Shane are the guy. You bought them another year, but then I don't know. That's why I think we need to at least see Dart for at least a few weeks, and I think we will. But depending on how the season goes, they could be average enough where we don't.
So you bring up a really good point there. So we've talked about this a few weeks ago as well, but like I said, with everything that was going on, if the Giants are in playoff contention, and if they can make it to the playoffs, Shane Daboll get another year, right? We got our quarterback of the future. We got someone to help get him to where he's got to be, develop him later, and we got you guys to the playoffs. Yep. Fantastic! Sign him up, another year extension. Let's go. But if you're right there at the mediocre where you're going to miss the playoffs, it's week 14, right after that bye, is when you put Dart in and let him play. And it's also it also might be kind of like what Drew and I said prior. Is remember when Kurt Warner was over here?
Yep.
We pulled him out. We were playing well. It might be one of those seasons.
Yeah, and listen, based on what time Russ gets is also going to tell you what the team thinks of him. And the reason I say it is because what you said about Kurt Warner. So the Giants were on that cusp of being a potential playoff team back in 2004. And they threw Eli in, which totally killed any chances of the playoffs, by the way. But it didn't matter because we got 2 rings in the end, so we're nobody's upset about that, obviously. But the Giants didn't want to have a competition next year where Kurt Warner leads them to the playoffs. Then all of a sudden people are like, oh, why should we get rid of Kurt Warner? We got the playoffs with them last year. And there's a part of that. Now, Kurt Warner wasn't quite as old as Russell Wilson is right now. If I remember correctly, he was 33, 34 when we had him. I can look
I believe so, because he played another 4 years afterwards.
He played until he was 57 years old.
And Russ is turning 37.
85.
He was 33 when he played for the Giants. And then he went on and played 5 more years for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and he went to the Super Bowl with the Cardinals.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think the time you see him is going to vary on so many variables we don't know. It's so hard to guess what's going to happen with Russell Wilson this year. My hope is just that he looks good. The offense looks good as a result. And the biggest thing for me is that we're putting Jaxson Dart in whenever we do, because I do think he's going to come in pretty much no matter what. That you're going to see him in a situation where offense is already clicking. And he just needs to take the reins as the horse is already trotting down the road. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I don't want him going into a situation where it's just crap.
Yeah, and Jay Ferris brought up a good point. I don't know where is in the chat. I think it was a little bit ago, but he talked about how Jaxson Dart he could see getting snaps towards the end of games and blocks, or just every few. I think that's something they are going to try early in the season. Situational, just keeping him on his feet, like Daboll mentioned. We saw him throw him in for a play in that Jets preseason game. Could see the same thing, throughout the early parts of the season, just keeping him ready and seeing what he has in those short periods that he's in the game.
Yeah, there it is. I found the comment for you.
Yeah, there it is.
And then Deb also, a good point there. She says, good point by Sims was September is a funky month for O-line. Put a bet in until that settles down. And I cannot, agree with that more. And that's why I think this is going to be one of those situations where, at the very least, it's going to be a month or two, no matter what, of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can throw like crap and throw 5 interceptions week 1. You're still not going to see Dart week 2.
Yeah.
No.
You'll
see Winston, if that's the case. You'll see Winston.
That would be the worst case scenario.
That segues us right into Jameis Winston. That's our next guy up. It's like you knew, Rob. So let's get into Jameis Winston talk. I'm going to say, as much as I love having Jameis Winston first off this roster, I cannot say that enough. The personality, the camaraderie you can see amongst the quarterbacks, I put a lot on Jameis Winston, and I love the fact that he's here. But I'm going to say his stats are 0 games, 0 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I don't want to see him. I really don't at this point. Because Russell Wilson start, and then Jaxson Dart should take over. The only way I want to see Jameis Winston is if Russell Wilson gets hurt in the first month or 2 of the season and they don't want to throw Dart in yet. That's it.
Exactly. And that's legit what I was hinting at just before. Like, if something happens, Russ looks terrible, you're not going to throw Dart into the Wolves. You're going to throw Winston in there, let him get beat up too. And then listen, that being said, listen, that dude is going to make way much more money post NFL career.
Definitely.
And some kind of media outlet. Like, my God, he's a national treasure.
By the way, that segment is exactly why you guys want to watch on YouTube, not necessarily being the audio, though we appreciate the audio people. They had no clue what we're giggling about.
I wasn't eating crab legs off the side. Whatever.
Crab legs!
I mean, the worst case scenario to me is seeing Jameis Winston, because I think the consensus right now is Russell Wilson, at least for now, gives you the best shot to win on the team out of the quarterbacks, because you don't know how Dart is yet, but you know, like I said, I do want to see him pretty early.
He's the safest pick.
Yeah, he's the safe option. That's
after what we saw of Dart, I can't sit there and say any longer that Russell Wilson gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah, because I don't think it's as far off anymore. Like as I thought prior, when we picked Dart, but
he's the safest pick.
Yeah, and Dart's you're obviously the guy you want to be a franchise quarterback. Where Winston's kind of this middle guy who you're not gaining anything by playing him. Like there's nothing to me. You don't get to see what you have in Dart, and you also are not putting out your best chance to win. Giants should sign Jazz Chisholm Jr. in the chat. I just saw that. But no, yeah. So to Winston playing to me is not. I don't even want to see it at all.
Yeah, I think that in the end, he is there just to mentor Jaxson Dart, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
and
I mean, Dart has come out prior saying that he wants Winston as a mentor, and guess the first time we did, once we heard that, signed Winston,
Yeah, it's adding up. And I also, that's another thing, just because I don't want Winston to play at all, it doesn't mean, like I'm not like one of the people saying trade him, because I think he'd be the perfect backup next year for Dart when Dart's starting year 2. And like you said, this year 1, I like him having a connection with Winston, Dart having a connection with Winston just to grow as a quarterback. And, everyone needs to laugh a little and have fun off field, on the field, on the side, so him and Winston, I think Winston's perfect for that, but on field, I don't need to see Winston.
Yeah.
Listen, he's just part of the 3 amigos. Sorry.
Yeah. Not anymore. 2 amigos now.
I got to add a Russell back into the mix because
true.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
The director is now back in.
Exactly. So, Devs hate to keep quoting Sims, but his take on Winston was his value is in the spirit in the locker room. Damn straight.
Yeah.
Like I said, something has changed in that locker room. I don't want to put it on one person because I'm not in there to know. But at the very least, Winston is part of this change. Part of
Russ,
this
Winston, Russ and Winston, those guys.
Yeah.
So, listen, Drew, you could probably speak more to about this scenario than I can. But when he was on the Bucs, was he that locker room guy? I don't know if he really was. He brought a lot of intensity, but it was once he got traded out of, or once he left Tampa Bay, he started becoming the Reverend. He started really changing his attitude and just wanted to be on the field and trying to even mentor guys, even though he's not that old yet as a quarterback. But he's sitting there trying to be relevant in the NFL. And he changed his persona.
You know what it is?
To this guy that everyone wants to follow.
Again, living in the Tampa Bay area, like you said, I do see a lot of Bucs coverage. I got buddies of mine here in the area that cover the Bucs as well. Even go on the field post game and do shows there, so it's kind of cool. By the way, the Giants would never let content creators do that. Shame. Jameis Winston, when he left this area, he's been a backup basically ever since. And I think he takes the job very seriously. And I think being the backup is letting him kind of relax a little bit and have his actual personality come through, as opposed to somebody who's stressing out because he's got so much on his plate. See, and Rob agrees so much he left. That's how much he agrees. He just I can't do it better. But when you you ever meet somebody who has a job and it's a high stress job and they're you know what, I don't need this crap anymore. I'm going to take the lower stress job. and they do that, and they're a lot happier. I feel like that's what Jameis is.
Yeah, and
like he's just chilling.
Once he went to the Saints, you noticed it, and even when the time he's come into play, he still accepted that mentor, just funny guy role while still playing. And it seems like he's even accepted being that 30 interception, 30 touchdown kind of guy, where he's just you don't know what you're getting out of him, and he just loves being out there playing football.
Yeah, exactly. He gets to have fun,
even watching football, because on the sidelines.
So yeah, that's what we gotta hope though. Is we just don't see him. We don't see Jameis. He gets to be the role he wants to be, the buddy, the locker room guy, the guy having fun, lifting people's spirits, working one-on-one with Dart specifically. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. So let's get into Dart. Because that's the one I know everybody wants to talk about. So
the thumbnail. He's in the thumbnail.
He is in the thumbnail. It was a nice thumbnail.
Yeah.
But here's just, again, we got to go with stats here. I got to get it with Jameis Winston because, quite frankly, again, we don't want him to see him on the field. His stats last year at Ole Miss. Again, we're talking college. There is that difference. There's a huge difference. 13 games, 69.3 completion percentage, 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I really think this is a guy that I have so much higher hopes for than I did pre-draft, during the draft, even right after necessarily post-draft, though I liked what I saw personality-wise from him. He had such a good preseason. It's hard not to get excited about him.
It really is. The experience I've went through, this roller coaster with Dart, has been very interesting because pre-draft I wasn't the biggest fan of him. I thought he was a second rounder, and I personally wanted Shador even when they actually traded up. So I was one of those people.
Yeah.
And then after the draft, watched some film. I started to like him more, but I still didn't love the pick, running 53% of play action at Ole Miss in that Lane Kiffin system offense. But then, through training camp, at the start he struggled. Then you saw him pick it up, and he even said the game slowing down for him through the preseason. He really made some good plays and really just played really good football. And it looks like he's more ready than I thought he would be coming out of college. And I think it's mainly a big reason for that is Brian Daboll's ability to ease him in with, quick throws, screen passes, and then letting him throw it down the field every once in a while. And I just think it's the perfect way to develop him. And he just has that I know someone said this earlier this week, that moxie to him where he has so much confidence and that moxie where he's gonna succeed, and when he wants it, he's gonna get it, and he has that confidence to him, like I just said, that Daniel Jones didn't. Like he's loose.
There's that Rob.
There's that rascal.
But yeah, I mean that's what it boils down to is he's just there's something about him, and I feel like he's got the leadership skills. And we talked about it. We liked a lot we saw right after the draft. Like the video. And listen, again, being in sales, I pick up little things all the time. And I loved the fact that the video when we first drafted him, and you see him come into the building with his family, and he's opening up the door, letting everybody else go through before he does. That's a respect thing. It's a character thing, and that's like your adrenaline's rolling. You
the little things.
You really see the real person in those kind of moments.
Yeah.
So I like the personality. Even the fire, you guys see, and Rob and I obviously were at the game, so we can go. We didn't get to see this at the time until afterwards. But he's in the blue tent when he's getting checked out for concussion. He's getting lifted. He's like, "Come on!" Like he's like trying to rush them and stuff like that. But he's got that fire. He wanted to go right back out there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot to like about him personality wise.
Even the first you could go first.
I would say you could tell he's competitive. Like he wants to be out there, and he's already in that short period of time has got a lot of respect of the players because they were all by his side by the tent. Like they want to know what was going on. Like you could tell, like a lot of these guys like who he is and like that he's the future.
And and you just stole my words. He's a competitor. The first two plays of the Patriots game where Brian Daboll purposely took out his headset and just completely cut off the connection. Yep. He stayed composed and he ran the offense. And then like you just mentioned, his teammates love him. Malik Nabers, jumping on him after the touchdown. The players love them, and it's just exciting to see. And at the end, I know they keep saying it, the vibe and the energy just feels different. And not only Russell Wilson and Winston, but I think he also has something to do with it, being that young guy coming in, and even Nabers feels like he has a franchise quarterback now for
Yeah,
his career.
Yeah, like I don't know if Drew, if you felt it, but like at that game, like you're watching this go on, like you could feel the energy was just different out there. Like
people
we're
gravitate
lucky
towards them.
Yeah,
they do. Like you can see it when you're watching the. Like I said, it was nice perspective to be at the game because you got to see it. Like people on the sidelines were gravitating towards him.
And they said that was the same at Ole Miss. I'm not as big into college as I am the NFL, so I only really watch these college guys as I'm watching them come into the draft, so the film and stuff like that. Not really, live on Saturdays too much, but I heard he's always staying late in the building at Ole Miss. He was always the last guy, first guy in, last guy out. I hate saying that, but
well, we're saying about Daniel Jones too. So let's
not
ahead of ourselves.
Let's savor that, but yeah,
I hate saying that, but he was literally the last guy out, and his teammates loved him. So those are some things that I've already seen transitioning over to the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, and DJ's defense, people did like him because he was that person that stayed.
No, he was.
So he just
sucked.
Yeah.
But it was like
to put it nicely, he sucked.
So, yeah. I don't know.
I'm excited for the future.
Yeah.
I am, and that's why I hate we just brought up Daniel Jones. I'm having like flashbacks now in my head.
They're nightmares.
Wrong team.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I don't know what to think of him as a quarterback yet. I don't want to go too crazy off of preseason because again, it's preseason. Like you said, simplified offense, a lot of yardage going on, and the whole thing. I don't know how much we're going to see of him either. And that's part of where it's difficult to kind of gauge where he's at there. So it's hard to say like, okay, I expect this out of him. So I'm going to attempt to do it. But it's so hard to attempt to do it. And I'm going to
you don't know how many games he's going to play.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. Instead of saying games and yards and that kind of, I'm going to say it this way. I expect him to get about 250 yards passing a game and to go ahead and get a touchdown interception ratio that's a little on the positive side, but I do expect some picks. It's a rookie. There's going to be picks. Remember, Peyton Manning led the freaking league in picks his first year starting. That's life. They don't typically hit the ground running. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to guess is going to be what it is. How many games? I have no goddamn clue.
Yeah.
But I think around 250 yards, passing specifically. The rushing, obviously, he'll do some rushing yards too. And like I said, a slightly positive touchdown to interception ratio.
So you're saying if he starts week 15, he's probably getting, we'll just say 800 yards. We'll say 7 touchdowns and 4 picks.
Yes, I'll say about 3. Yeah, so that's 7 and 4, that kind of ratio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's
like an Eli-esque kind of.
Yeah,
like 7 and 4.
Eli probably 1 or 2 more interceptions if we're being honest. Much be like Eli, we'll be honest about it. So. Yeah, that's where I got him. So
it's so hard to predict his stats though that you just don't know until you actually see what he does until it's out there.
It's also it is impossible because it's not just him. You're not just looking at his stats at a combine. You're not looking at his stats at some measurement where you can go by. Like you're looking at live, in the middle of a live game where your offensive line is going to predict how much time you have to throw the ball. You're talking about your receiver's ability to get open and the cornerbacks that you're facing against to cover them. Like these are all different factors.
And who's healthy? Who's still healthy for us? His Nabers playing. There's so many different factors that go into it.
Is Andrew Thomas still healthy? How much time does he have?
Yeah.
Or it's also what type of scenario is he going into? Like, is he going into games that are already over, just doing garbage time? And, if that's part of it, too. I can see the Giants saying, you know what, this game's over. That last 2 series, Dart, you go in there.
Yeah, and is he coming in for a 3-9 team or a 6-6 team? Like,
what I'm saying, if it's garbage time and we're winning, hypothetically, that's what
I was about to say.
There'd be a lot of ball handing off of that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, exactly. If you're going to garbage time, you're probably not throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get touchdowns and interceptions that way.
Yes. And yards.
You know what I will say? There's one thing I actually never thought of this until just now. It just popped into my head. Could we see this being sort of a Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix situation with the Falcons from last year, where he played some snaps at the end of games early on, and then when Kirk was showing his age at the end of the season, I think it was like the last 4 to 5 games, Falcons were still in the hunt for the playoffs. I think they were like 6-6, and they ended up
Yeah.
playing Penix the rest of the year. Is that something we could see? Something
The
to
only
watch.
reason I would say no to that is I don't think he's going to have a breakdown like Kirk Cousins had. Like Kirk Cousins had like 4 interceptions in one
Russ,
game.
you don't think Russell?
Yeah,
You don't think,
I don't think
No.
Russell was that bad.
Listen. The game that put the nail in his coffin, he went 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and like 177 yards.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, it was awful.
yeah.
And
And
I don't think Russ does that.
yeah,
And
I don't
we all
know.
know Jameis wanted to be 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That's what he would do.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't see that. But like I said, we'll see. Nothing would shock me what to do with Dart. And they're going to keep their plan close to the chest as they should, not let any of us know whatsoever. So, unfortunately, this is where it's very difficult for us Giant fans because we've been bit so many times before. We have to trust the process. I know it's like a cliche thing. Trust the process. Trust it.
you don't want to
It's
end up like the
hard.
Sixers, though.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to lose on purpose for 6 years, keep hitting first-round picks. Okay?
Yeah.
Like there's no lottery.
Yeah,
But I think that's where we're at, is we have to just trust the process, trust that Daboll knows what he's doing. And because that's the only other option we have. I hate to say it that way, but it's like, what else do we have? Just sitting here bitching and moaning? Like,
yeah,
I mean, that is an option, but that's
I guess not a very fun one, that's for damn sure. Like,
Yeah.
we've never given Daboll a chance to develop a quarterback here in New York.
yeah.
No.
And he finally has that opportunity now.
Yeah.
No,
And it's the guy he wanted. Let's be very clear on that. It's the guy
Yeah.
he wanted. And
Yeah,
that's a big part of this. Because if this
And-
fails, Daboll failed.
100%. Because we also threw DJ in his face saying, like, you
Yep.
paid the guy. That's your problem now.
And we're not wrong by saying that too, by the way.
No. But at the same time, like,
Yes.
we're about to find out, like, was Josh Allen as much as, Daboll picking him
Yeah.
out? Or
We've
is he-
questioned that ourselves in the show many times because
Yeah.
it doesn't have the track record without Josh Allen. If you take Josh Allen out of the equation, just look at the rest of his NFL stops, he's done jack and shit in the quarterback scenario.
unless
Yeah.
he-
he's been fired from everywhere else except Buffalo.
With like the worst offenses in the NFL.
Yeah,
Like,
and Allen.
even the Chiefs with Jamal Charles, who was a freaking beast back in the day.
Yeah, and you could argue Allen got better last season and the past 2 seasons.
Well, you can also argue it's natural progression of a quarterback.
Yeah, not for
Yeah.
a franchise QB.
There's a prime to a quarterback, obviously, but the late
Yeah.
20, early 30 kind of range at that point, like that 28 to like 31, 32, that's like the prime years for a quarterback, which is what he's kind of getting into there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw that too much on that, but all right,
Yeah.
let's get into the running backs here. We can talk about quarterbacks for days, but eventually I have to go.
feels like we're about to.
No, we're off the quarterbacks. We're on to the running backs.
Thank God we cut Tommy DeVito, or else we would have been talking about him next.
Oh gosh. So anyway,
Gauntlets got cut.
let's get into the running backs here. We got to start, of course, with the starter Tyrone Tracy Jr. Last year, 192 carries, 839 yards, 5 touchdowns. It's a 4.4 yards per carry average. 38 receptions, 284 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown there. Probably one of the best surprises for the Giants last year overall. Like, great rookie class, obviously. That's kind of been like one group together. Nice surprise. But to get this kind of production out of a kid that was a day 3 pick that, like, most people are like, ooh, what? When we got him? This turned out very well. Very well. And keep in mind, those numbers were with him not starting and playing a lot at all in the very beginning of the season. Again, if you go into the first 4 weeks, he had 12 carries in 4 weeks. Did not exactly get the best time out there. And if you go to his latter part of the season, starting week 13, he was all banged up. 2.8 yards per carry, 3.1, 3.7, 3.0, and then 4.2. That's his yards per carry at the end of the season. If he's healthy, and God forbid Andrew Thomas is healthy, and actually it's a big help for him for opening up lanes there. Because keep in mind, he didn't have Andrew Thomas for much of his time there with the Giants this last year. I think this kid, and I don't want to go crazy, because I don't think he's an all-pro. He's not the second coming of Derrick Henry. But I do believe this is a kid that could do 1,100 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving, and be a 1,500 total, guy. It would just be a great player, by the way. Like, I feel like people are expecting people now to say, like, you have to be like, 1,300, 1,400 yards. No.
Yeah.
He's not going to be that player. I don't think that's him. But I think 1,100 yards rushing and 400 yards receiving is not ridiculous to expect of a guy who's going to be, assuming he's healthy, be in for all 17 games when he was only really in for like 13 games last year and still had 1,100 total yards.
Yeah, I'm okay with him finishing in room to what you just said when he finished last year, because you also got to put in the mix, like, he's got Skattebo too.
Yeah,
he's got to worry about, and they got Singletary. Like, there's other things, other factors, but you're not wrong for saying, like, hey, this is not. It's not that crazy to expect of you, but like once again, the NFL is any given Sunday, and it also depends on the team you're playing on, and it depends on the health of your offensive line and the players around you. Like, is your run working? Maybe, yes. Keep going. Is it not? All right, maybe Skattebo's run is working better. He gets a little more snaps. Maybe Singletary. Like,
you don't know how many each are going to get, and you don't know. They're going to use the running backs a lot in the receiving game, from what we've seen in camp and the preseason. That how much of it is using them in the run game, and even with Tracy, I don't know if it's going to be. I could see 1,100 if he's the starter and is the main running back throughout the season. But the thing that worries me from last season is after that Panther game where he had 103 yards on the ground, from week 12 on, he didn't have a game where he rushed for over 60 yards. And, I know his carries did go down throughout the season as they started to pass more, and, Drew Lock came in. And there were so many other factors. The last season was just such a disaster. But towards the end of last season, the last 6-7 weeks, he was pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, and a lot of that, though, also was the injury. He was battling an injury at that time period. He was still out there fighting, so I should give him credit for that, because a lot of the players, let's be honest, sat down and stopped playing, basically.
Especially with the record, with the way the record was.
Yeah, and, obviously, it's hard to do that when you're a rookie, too, because you're excited to be out there. You're just excited to be out there on an NFL team, let's be honest. There's a difference between a vet sitting out saying, I'm done. This season's over. I don't want to get hurt anymore. And a rookie like, no, don't take me off the field. I'm finally playing in the NFL. Like, there is a difference. I just think if this kid is healthy, that you have the potential to see a really, a special kind of season from him there. And again, keeping it realistic. I'm not trying to say insane numbers there. But if you look at what he was doing per game from week 5 to like week 11, like that was kind of the heyday of what we got out of him. And he was averaging about 80 yards rushing and about, let me see here, only about 15 yards receiving. So, and like I said, you got to hope he's healthy. You got to hope the line plays better and he gets healthier too. You got to hope that that he improves just going to second year.
The fumbling issues too.
But Drew, I just want to take away real fast there that you just told me that he averaged 80 yards rushing, about 15 yards receiving, 95 yards. So you're just telling me just shy of 100 yards for those games. So if he played those games for 17 games, he's just shy of 1,700 total yards.
1,615.
Yeah. So I'll take that.
That's what I'm saying. I think 15 is a realistic number, because I think part of him was just that feel of getting into his first NFL action and stuff like that. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a slowdown from that. But I do think him being healthy and him being a second year, it's going to be not as bad. It's, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be somewhat close to that. I think 1,500 is realistic.
My question would be, how much do you think Skattebo gets? How much of the load is Skattebo going to carry?
Well, we're going to talk about him in a minute, but I don't think Skattebo is going to take as much away from Tracy as some people think, personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a 50-50 split. I think maybe more 70-30, but Skattebo will be really.
I don't know that.
I think Skattebo is mainly going to be used though in the receiving game as a receiving back.
Depends as he does with pass protection, but let's go into the guy I think that is potentially one of the bigger risks to go ahead and take some carries away from Tyrone Tracy, and that's Devin
Early on.
Singletary. Because he's the veteran guy. He's the guy listed right now as the backup running back in this team here. So last year, 113 carries, 437 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and 3.9 yards per carry average, 21 receptions for 119 yards. By far and away his worst year as an NFL player. Now, by far and away also his least amount of carries he's gotten in his NFL season. So, we got to also kind of keep an eye on that part of it there. The production wasn't necessarily great, but didn't get a lot of time on the field either compared to what he usually gets. Some running backs take some carries and take some time to get rolling, so to speak, get the motor going, so to speak there, But if you look at his career, 5.1 yards per carry his rookie year, 4.4 year 2, 4.6 the next 2, 4.2 his 1 year in Texans, and then now 3.9 with the Giants. It's been going down.
Yeah.
He's going to be 28 years old, so he has to hit that 30 number yet that I know people love to hit. Oh, he's a 30-year-old running back.
Look at
It
you,
hits
Drew.
earlier for some people too. And I'm wondering if that's part of what it is. Because he's also not a big running back, guys. 5'7", 203 pounds.
Yeah.
It's pretty beefy for 5'7".
That is, because that's it's not that far off on the weight. It's the height definitely there at that point. 5.7. I'm not 5.7. 5. Listen, height should.
What are you
be
measuring?
Okay. I'm just saying. I hope it's not 5.7 for his life's sake. That's a whole separate issue. But yeah, I think that this is a guy that I think you're going to see him start as the backup and start kind of tailing off, and you got to hope that that's the one. This is the guy that Skattebo's taking carries away from, hopefully by the end of the year. And this is probably Devin Singletary's last year with the New York Giants.
That's a good point.
Yep.
I think that you also got to keep in mind there's that respect factor between him, Daboll, and Shane and all, too, from their time in Buffalo. There's a good working relationship there. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to show other teams for this upcoming offseason, hey, I'm not done. Hey, sign this guy. He's still got stuff left in the tank. And I just don't know if that's going to come at a hindrance to Tracy. And that's my one thing I worry about, because I think Tracy needs to be kind of given the reins.
I don't know how much they're gonna, I don't know how much of the carries go to Singletary, but I will say that I am happy they kept him on the roster as that veteran presence and over a guy like Turbo, who a lot of people wanted to keep, because to me, I didn't see much in Turbo outside of some straight line speed and against second and third stringers. So I didn't see the value in keeping him. So I don't know how much Singletary is going to get. I don't know. How well he's going to play when he is in. I'd rather Tracy and Skattebo take more of it as, the two young running backs in the core. But I do like his veteran presence and, getting some carries here and there. I could see it. But that's really all for Singletary in my opinion.
Yeah. And I'm going to say he does about what he did last year. And even maybe a little less. I'm going to say around 400 yards rushing.
I think slightly less. Yeah, around that.
Yeah. I don't see anything crazy. And part of why I'm saying the 400 yards thing is I just he's a good enough player that if there's anything left in the tank, he's going to have that one game where he gets 100 yards.
Yeah.
And he's just on fire. The coaching staff's yeah, you got this. This is your night. Go for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree.
We'll see. We'll see. I think, like I said, I think he's just starting to break down a little bit. I think he's just kind of done.
The motor is running out. The motor is breaking down.
Yeah, so it's time to change the oil. And that oil's name is Cam Skattebo.
That's a good segue.
Motor in. So Cam Skattebo. So obviously we got to go again. Same as we did with Dart. We got to go into the what he did with the college stats there. 13 games, 293 carries, 1,711 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns, 45 receptions, 605 yards, 3 touchdowns. Absolute insane. And guy that came out of nowhere, guys. As I already saw, Jay in the comments saying, damn, Skattebo was at Sacramento State 2 years ago. Too much hype. Damn straight he was. And if you go back to 23, 164 carries, 783 yards and 9 touchdowns. Nowhere near the production he had that last year. So we talk about this sometimes when we sign free agents and you sign them off their best year. We say, did we just sign a guy off his career year? I wonder sometimes with Skattebo.
That's a lot of drafting for you. That's what happens.
Now, y'all know I'm a Skattebo guy.
Skattebo.
I love the name. It's a fun name to say. But I don't know what to think of him yet. And the part of my hesitance to sit there and say he's going to have a great rookie year is we didn't see him really much. He got hurt, obviously, twice, came back, got hurt again. Then you go ahead and see him in the preseason game. Again, he's coming off an injury, but it felt like he was like a battering ram, and it was like the second coming of Brandon Jacobs, like some people
running into walls.
Like that wasn't what he did.
Yeah,
but again, I'm not going to judge him off that. It was one preseason game, him coming off an injury. I want to do that, but I don't want to christen him either. And that's what I feel like some fans are doing because they love this story, they love the hype around this kid, they love watching him last year in college, and I get all that. But this kid was also a day 3 pick.
Yeah, and if there was a good amount, I think there was 8 running backs that went ahead of him.
Yeah,
and I'm a Skattebo guy. Like I was at a few of the training camps, and I liked what I saw from Skattebo. Especially in the receiving game. But even when the pads came on, I know he had the first practice in full pads. He looked really good, even in the rushing game.
Looks really tiny too, doesn't he? Though.
Yeah, he does.
He does look tiny.
He does. Tiny and a little chunky, honestly.
Tiny and chunky.
Yeah.
Because he's got some thunder thighs.
Thunder thighs.
In the first pad of practice, he looked good in the rushing game, and we all knew that he had the good ability in the receiving game the past 4 practices. But my only thing was these Giants training camp practices looked really light. There was not any tackling. There was really not even any pushing and shoving. Even when the pads came on, that it's tough to judge it off of that. And then, like you said, he had that injury. Didn't see much of him in the preseason outside of a few carries in that game, and he was running into brick walls. So you can't really judge Skattebo yet. I'm excited to see what he could do just based off of who he is as a player, what we saw last year at Arizona State, and if he comes into the NFL and is able to transition and after a year or two is running over defenders, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm being optimistic about. But in the end, I don't know how much we're gonna get out of Skattebo yet because we haven't seen him in real situations yet.
So I think it's like, to me, I think expecting him to do something monstrous here is a little crazy. And if it happens, listen, sign me up. Hell, if he even takes over Tracy's job and gets the 1,300 rushing yards, I'm not going to complain. Yeah. But I think a realistic number to give him, and I think some guys are going to say this is probably way too low. I'm thinking like 300-400 yards.
It depends, like how much he does end up playing, and how much of it is in the receiving game. But yeah, I mean, who knows?
Starting off as a third running back.
Yeah.
So what carries he's going to get in the beginning? He's still coming off of an injury. He's still a rookie. There's a lot of these variables in this.
Yeah, and let's be realistic. How many total yards is this Giants offense going to get? Because everyone's talking about like Skattebo's going to get 1,500 yards, and then Singletary's going to get another 1,000 yards, and then Skattebo's going to get 800 yards.
Giants are going to be the best rushing team ever.
Yeah, and let's talk about like Malik Nabers is going to get 1,500 yards receiving, and you got to get Wan'Dale another 1,000 yards, and you're going to get Hyatt's going to have a great year with 600 yards, and you're going to have Slayton breaking the first 1,000 yards. Like, let's be real here. Like, there's only so much offense could go around here.
Yes, and we'll get to that, especially when we talk about receivers in a little bit, I'm sure, too, as well, because people have crazy thoughts on that stuff all the time. But yeah, like I said, I just think we got to keep the expectations low. Kid's already had a couple injuries. He had only one great year in college. He was a day 3 pick. And like I said, if he is if he's great, and I'm just giving people pause and saying, let's pump the brakes a little on him. If he's great, I'm all for it, guys.
Yeah.
But
I'm on the Skattebo train.
Expecting it is a little crazy. Like, I don't think anybody expected, what we got last year to Tracy, right? Like, none of y'all did, right? Like,
no, the fifth round pick guy I didn't hear of actually until with Tracy. I didn't really know about him until after the draft when I started watching him, honestly. So yeah, I did not expect that. And then he came out and played really well. His first that Seahawk game.
So my question to y'all is, we had no expectations of a fifth round pick, but everybody has really high expectations of a fourth round pick. Is there that much of a difference?
No.
Yeah, like I said, that's where I'm at. So, all right, let's get into the wide receivers after we pay the bills.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
We lose Ryu again, Rob. We lost Rob again. Oh, there he is.
I'm right here.
He's popping in, popping out. It's like Mary Poppins over here. A little spoonful of sugar helps medicine go down. So let's get into the wide receivers here. So obviously it all starts with Nabers. Probably the most important, it's not like probably, the most important person in this group. Let's just call it what it is. And you can make the claim that he's one of the most important players in this team, if not most important even on all offense, because he's the most dynamic. At the very least, he's top 3 as far as like most important, because you can throw Andrew Thomas in that lump, you can throw one of the quarterbacks in that lump, but definitely as far as wide receiver. So last year, 15 games, 109 receptions, 1,204 yards, 7 touchdowns. Absolutely insane. Let me just make sure everybody hears me correctly on this. With Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito.
And Tim Boyle.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And
you always
Tim
forget
Boyle.
Boyle. I always bring him up. He always forgets Boyle.
He's a boil on everybody's skin. But that's insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, it's literally broke the record for most receptions by a rookie wide receiver. I have to say it that way because Brock Bowers also broke the record for overall rookie receptions. But for wide receivers, to get the most receptions as a rookie in NFL history for wide receivers, with Daniel Jones as your best quarterback. Yeah.
Listen,
he deserves his own award for that.
look at Bowers with AOC.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
So now you got Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, you got Jaxson Dart, and let's be very frank, all 3 of those are better than anybody who was on the roster last year.
Yeah, and I was trying to predict his Nabers' stats just a while ago, and I was comparing it to last season where he had the 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns, and I looked at Jamar Chase's stats, comparing them because LSU receivers and looking at how he, what he would do. I think Jamar Chase's best season was 1,700 yards, and honestly, I could see Nabers getting close to that already if he plays the full season. And we have to remember he missed 2 or 3 games last year as well. So there's other factors, and it's just he could be just as good or even better than Chase and Jefferson.
But see, that's the problem right there you just mentioned, though. If he makes it, he's already had the foot injury. Now he's got the back injury as well. He's dealing with, though he says it's minor, not to worry. He's kind of brushing it off himself. But I never seen a player go, yeah, it's a bad injury, guys. Who knows? Don't pick me on fantasy football. Heads up.
Well, as a guy that's very big in fantasy football and loves all that stuff, Ja'Marr Chase,
Rob
great year. And he actually, I think Malik does have the potential and the ceiling to be, one of the top, if not the top receiver in the league, with the right talent around him. Like Ja'Marr Chase is lucky because he's got Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow is lucky that he's got Ja'Marr Chase because you're talking about a top 3 receiver and a top 3 quarterback that are matched up with each other. It's a match made in heaven. Nabers had to be a top 5 receiver last year, top 10 receiver last year with someone's backup of a quarterback in fantasy football.
Daniel Jones is
they were scraping, they were scraping at the bottom of the barrel if you had DJ started for you. You're probably in a 15-man league, on a bye week with DJ.
Yeah.
So the talent's there, and let's be frank too. Let's look at what happened with Nabers.
I'm sure I'm not Frank.
Surely, don't call me Frank. Anyway, Nabers did what he did because he was the only weapon we had last year, and we utilized him down the field, and everyone used him as a crutch. I should say the only weapon. To bring in a veteran quarterback, he's going to utilize that weapon hands down. He's going to get the yards, but he also knows how to utilize number 2, number 3, the receiver. He also knows how to utilize the running back. He also knows how to utilize the tight end. So I could see Nabers' yardage going up just a little bit, not to that ceiling of what you're saying, but a little bit. Not quite that 1,500 yards, but still hovering close to what he did, maybe a little bit more, but more touchdowns.
Yeah. How many deep bombs did Daniel Jones miss with him?
Oh, so many.
So many. He got all of that off slant routes and all, that's what he kept on getting.
Yeah.
I feel like his receptions will go down. His yards will go up because he's going to get the deep balls. I mean, listen, we said it before. Russell Wilson throws a damn good deep ball. Damn good deep ball.
Look at the Chesky.
That's what he does really good. So I'm going to say, if I had to guess, which we have to do in this, about 100 receptions, about 1,400 yards, and 10 touchdowns. His 1,700 is that to me is you're going to Justin Jefferson kind of category.
Yeah.
Because to me, he's still the best receiver in all of football right now. And I don't want to put him there yet because I feel like you got to do that first. I can't put you in that category until you do it. Yeah. And do I have faith he can get there eventually? Yes. But when I know he's already battling a couple injuries in training camp and stuff like that, why I say this is the year? Who knows?
Yeah. I know. I agree fully.
But that's good numbers. I got 1,400 yards out of a receiver and 10 touchdowns.
But he's definitely going to improve if he plays the full season because he had that terrible quarterback room last year. Now he goes to this. He's going to realize how big of an upgrade it is as he's already probably realized that through camp, but in the regular season.
He's going to improve, I'm telling you, in the next couple of years in general, because the one thing with him, the one knock you can give him, and it's a slight knock because everybody's got their downfalls. No one's a perfect player. Every so often, his cuts are a little wide and not quite as sharp as they should be. And if he can fix that, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable. Unstoppable. But I think everything else he does, his speed, his elusiveness, his juke moves he does real quick just to kind of lose the corner for a second. He's just really good at every single thing else, basically. Unless you want to give him the hands thing, but I'm going to give him a little bit of pass. He was overused last year.
Yeah, he was way overused last year. And that's what I'm saying. I still think 100 receptions is probably a little high for him.
The only reason I'm saying that is as if he's going to be in all 17 games. Well, if he did 109 and 15,
So this is why I'm going to refrain from saying 100 yards. I'm sorry, 100 receptions. I think it's going to be less. It's probably closer to like 85, 90, because maybe even less, because he's going to get better thrown balls, more yards, and then more distribution. So you're going to get what you need out of him with less throws, and then you're going to throw the ball elsewhere. So you're going to get the yards you need, and he's going to get similar yardage and less throws. And then he's going to be utilized in the right position where he can get those touchdowns and increase that.
Yeah, and like I said, this has the potential to be, and I always hate to word it this way because he kind of came out last year, became a big phenom in the NFL just because of what he did. I feel like this could be a coming out party year for him. Like, as much as I said, I don't want to put on him going to that kind of Justin Jefferson Chase kind of category because of the injuries he's dealing with. If he's able to put a full season together and he's fully healthy and he stays the focal point of this offense, which he should 100%.
Without a doubt.
He has that potential. It's a matter of can he stay healthy? Can he get to that level?
Yeah.
We're going to find out. It's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm gonna break it down to is listen, last year, right? It took him 3 catches to go 60 yards when it might take him 2 catches to go 80 yards.
Yeah.
What would you rather take? Way less throws or more yak?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, and shout out Tim in the chat. Online Big Blue.
There he is.
Big Blue.
He came for you, not even for us. Is that Ryan from Ryan Big Blue Podcast? Damn straight it is. So let's get into the next guy, because number 2, it's I don't know who you want to count as number 2 here, but we're going with it based on Darius Slayton. Now, we're going to say that kind of put Wan'Dale in his own category as a slot receiver. So last year for Slayton, 39 receptions, 573 yards, 2 touchdowns. In 16 games, mind you. And
worst season ever.
Yes, absolutely. And, well, I wouldn't say that. He had one bad year back in 21. Yeah. That was his 1 year. That was the bad year when he only had 339 yards. Every other year but that, prior to last, he had 700 and change a year in reception yards. Last year, his issue was point blank. He was targeted 71 times, had only 39 catches. That's bad.
I think Russell Wilson, like Rob said before, he's going to find ways to distribute it better. Yep. And I think that Darius Slayton's one of the guys who's going to benefit most from that. I know a lot of people say Hyatt, but to me, Hyatt sucks. I think Darius Slayton's going to be the one that benefits most from it, because he is also that, that deep ball receiver. We saw Tyrone Taylor threw him a lot of deep balls in 2023. And I think, he's going to, I don't know. I don't want to say he's going to, get over 1,000 yards, but I think, 850 to 900 range is where I could see him, falling.
Honestly,
yeah, I don't know.
He just goes back to the 700 yard range.
Yeah, I was about to say, I see him right around that 800 mark, give or take. It could be 750, it could be 850, right around the 800 mark. Malik Nabers stays close to where he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got Slayton get a way uptick, and we got other guys to talk about, where they're going to get the yardage from. But you're going to see better produced balls, and we talked about how many times he was targeted, 71 times, have 39, and he got 39 catches. How many he was targeted, how bad of the ball placement was it?
He's always had some drops issues too. We do have to give him that.
He did, but
he's always had some. He's always had.
But the past 3 years since we've done this podcast, way better.
He's gotten better.
Yeah.
Better. Way better.
Yeah.
But there's also some bad balls thrown. Once again, let's look at this quarterback room from last year.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we said the deep ball was a big issue.
Yeah.
Point blank, Daniel Jones, I don't know if it was a neck injury or if it was just the battered child syndrome he had or whatever the case may be. But he could not throw the ball deep anymore. And that's Darius Slayton's bread and butter. Is he would be open deep. Wouldn't always catch it, but he'd be open deep all the time. And for his career, 15 yards per reception. That's pretty damn good. Like he's not Wan'Dale Robinson getting the ball 4 yards down the field.
Behind the yard of scrimmage.
This is this is the guy that is your quick, speedy guy. And I got to say, I think Russell Wilson made a mistake, by the way, guys, when he kept on nonstop talking about Hyatt, who again we'll get to later as well. But he should have been buddying up to Darius Slayton the second he got to this freaking squad. And I'm sure he did because he went out of his way to try to be buddy with everybody right off the bat.
Yeah.
He played the politician role and all, but that should have been the guy in every single press conference. Slayton, because he's a proven deep threat.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to say he's a Pro Bowler or anything great like that. We're not trying to take it to that extent. But this guy has consistently gotten 700 yards a season and is a deep ball threat, which is exactly plays into the strengths of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he's had basically 700-yard seasons with Daniel Jones at quarterback, and his best season was his rookie year. His best season with touchdowns was his rookie year with 8, and that was Daniel Jones's best year, at least in the touchdown column. And after that, his next best season was 2023, where Tyrod Taylor played a lot of the snaps, and Tommy DeVito started. Those two started most of the games, so. He's definitely going to improve from the addition of Russell Wilson. And even when Dart comes in, I still have confidence that he'll be able to distribute, and Slayton's going to get his.
Yeah, we said it before. All 3 quarterbacks that the Giants have in this roster are better than anybody they had in the last year.
Yeah.
So no matter what, no matter who plays, even if Russell Wilson trips on a sidewalk and breaks his ankle and can't play in week 1, no matter who plays, Darius Slayton is officially playing with the best quarterback he's ever played with in the NFL.
Hands down. Listen.
And
easily.
You can even say college because he didn't have a great college quarterback either. So, yeah, like I said, I just, as Jay says, you guys simply overstate how bad DJ was and how good cringy Russ is. No, it's not that we overstated. It's just that, it's like when you buy, okay, I want to put it this way. Like, it's like you have a shitbox car. And then you go buy a brand new Hyundai. Like, that's your BMW and your Mercedes because you just got a shitbox car and you got out of it. And that Hyundai is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah. And that's what it is. He is our Hyundai.
Daniel Jones, you can honestly even say it wasn't a shitbox. It was just no car at all. That's how bad it was. You didn't have a car.
Just missing an engine.
I won't go that far, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Because listen, like, there's sometimes he would just coast you into where you had to go.
Yeah. All right, let's get into Wan'Dale Robinson here, guys, because talk about a guy that Rob and I said before the season started. We said Wan'Dale Robinson is a 100-catch guy with the right system. Well, I don't know if it's still the right system or not, but he got 93 catches last year, guys.
Yeah, quietly.
But only 699 yards.
That's only because, like, 40 of those throws were behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And just
that's the emphasis.
Don't sack me.
Yeah. No, that's what the emphasis needs to be with Wan'Dale. Get him the ball just even 10 yards down the field and let him work in space and create yak, and it's going to be much better. Much better.
Just give him plus 3 yards.
Even that,
much
3 to 5 yards. 3 to 5 yards.
Much better. You're giving him negative 3 yards, and he got what he got. Give him plus 3 yards.
We said his depth of target last year was 3.8 yards. 3.8, the second worst in the entire NFL. Now, just put him at 5 yards, okay, hypothetically. Now he's an 800-yard guy.
Yeah.
Lost the same catches. The biggest issue I have with him is the T-Rex arms and the child hands. Like, we've got to figure out a way to get the ball and keep the ball.
Yeah.
And I do think having a better quarterback is going to help alleviate some of that because we said it before. Some of the biggest issues he had is instead of catching in stride, he had to go back a little bit and go for the ball because the balls weren't thrown correctly. Point blank. Now, we also saw him, though, and again, I don't want to harp on one play in the preseason. We saw him drop the ball in preseason. This was it week 2, I think it was. I think it was the second game. That really stalled out a drive that Russell Wilson was on. So I can't put it on with the quarterbacks. But I can't put it all on him. And I don't know which one is which. Now, this is a contract year for Wan'Dale. Players tend to want to play the greatest they can on contract years. So crazy me, they should want to play great every year. But that's just. But there's that incentive when you have that kind of money. I get it, and
Yeah.
I just don't know where to put him at because Russell Wilson likes to throw deep. Because of the fact that we don't know who's going to be quarterback this whole year. But I'm going to say this, based on how he played last year, if and when we put Jaxson Dart in there, he has the potential to be a nice safety security blanket for Jaxson Dart there. And if Russell Wilson goes into the part of the problems with Russell Wilson, because part of the problems with him is if he can't see anything deep, he just checks down. The mid-range isn't there for him. You know, he's like the NBA as a quarterback. It's all dunks and three-pointers. That's all it is. So I don't know what to expect out of him because it depends on how much is deep because that's where he prefers to go.
Yeah.
It depends on who's the quarterback.
Well, and
There's
something
a
in
lot of
camp,
things.
something that I noticed in camp was they were actually trying to get him the ball downfield more,
Yes.
further down the field. And even, it was up to 20, 30 yards. They were really making an emphasis on getting him the ball, further down the field. And if they do that, I definitely see him improving and having, the season we would want and expect him to have.
Yep.
Nothing crazy, but what we would expect. And like Jay Ferry said, be the cherry on top of hopefully a great offense or a good offense even.
So my prediction, I think he's going to go down a little in catches. I think there was a lot of volumes thrown his way because the quarterbacks were under distress.
Yeah.
I'm going to simmer down the 100 because I wanted to get him higher on the yards. That's the big goal right there this year at this point. I'm going to say 85 catches for 800 yards and maybe 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm not
Get
far
enough
off.
set
Yeah.
reasonable.
I think he might get a little less receptions, but about the same amount of yards. Like I think you're going to get more. You're going to get better usage. He's not going to be set up in the backfield as much as he was because he was a safety net last year, especially towards the end of the season. Like how many times do you see him set up like with the receiver, with the running back or behind the field, or do like one of those still behind the run plays behind the quarterback, like and where offensive line was doing terrible and he was just dumped out behind the line of scrimmage. I think that gets eliminated.
Yeah.
So you see 75 receptions this year, but still you get like 800 yards. Like, I think it's a big difference. Like, he's definitely like improve with his yards, but
Yeah.
you're not going to see him like abused in the backfields.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not. And I think that's I think you're to see less volume, but better work overall. That's where I'm thinking for him.
Agreed. And like
So
also like right, so 2022, like towards the end of the year, tears the ACL, 23 didn't really play, 24 comes back. Doesn't really look that great this year. More athletic.
Yeah.
So
all right. Let's move on to Jalin Hyatt, one of the most disappointing picks. And it's hard to say that because he's a third-round pick. It's like, what do you expect out of a third-round pick? Not to say it's a
Jackson
bad
didn't
pick,
want him
but you
out
can't
there.
expect an all-pro. And some people just thought he was going to like be this amazing receiver. Rob and I said when we drafted him, one-trick pony. That's what he is. It's really, really fast. That's all he's been, really, really fast. Can't get off press, can't run NFL routes, can't function in an NFL system so far. Still has less career touchdowns than Andrew Thomas. That's bad. That's really bad.
yeah.
Last year, 16 games, 8 catches for 62 yards. That wasn't one game. That was the season, guys. That was the season.
No, I don't have any hope for Hyatt left.
Yeah. Not the way we saw him in the preseason.
Listen, he could be the most improved guy in this offense,
I gave 200 yards.
but it's not saying much.
100 yards is in a big improvement for him after last season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you want to talk statistics, he could be the most improved guy.
And still suck.
Be the worst.
Yeah.
And I
So,
just don't see. And like when you talk about the yards, you give Neighbors what 1,400, Slayton about 750 to 800, then Robinson about 800. There's really like, and then you have the tight ends and running backs.
4,000 right there.
You have to account for the running backs and tight ends. There's not really much left for him
no,
on the apple to bite.
no. That's what I'm saying. When I say 200 yards, that's what I honestly think is going to be. Because I do think he's going to get a couple deep throws.
Yeah, I think
So-
late in the game.
Yeah, once in a while.
No one's gonna like cover him. Like everyone's gonna be on Neighbors. Everyone's gonna look at like, all right, we're gonna cover Slayton because he's catching the ball deep now. All right, Wan'Dale's gonna be this guy, and Hyatt's down there. He's open. He's got a 25-yard bomb. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna see that like every other game,
Yeah.
And
maybe every third game.
that's what I'm saying. I think about 200 yards is probably all he gets. And I think we finally move on from this failed experiment at the end of the year.
Could he be a guy who they traded the deadline if he's doing completely nothing and Bo
Who would
Collins
want
ends
him?
up? Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's the problem. Like, don't get me wrong. I would trade him away for a half-eaten Snickers bar right now.
And you're not yourself when you don't have Snickers.
Yes, I need the full Snickers to get not hungry either. So, I just, like I said, there was a lot of hype for him coming in. It looked great, and supposedly when he camp and blah blah blah, but he didn't do jack in the preseason. And until he does something, I can't expect anything of him.
Yeah,
I think the NFL as a whole will go, okay, 3 years now with him. He's still not performing with Russell Wilson, Jaxson Dart, whatever at that point, combination thereof. And what are you going to get for him?
yeah.
Now, if the team is desperate, maybe you get a like a fifth, sixth, seventh guy, like a day 3 pick. Then maybe you find someone desperate,
Yeah, and I saw people comparing Devon Veal just got traded from the Broncos to the Saints. People were comparing him to Hyatt. Oh, maybe we can get something for Hyatt. I think they got a 4th or 5th for Devon. But he put up 475 yards and 3 touchdowns in his rookie year last year with the Broncos. That's much better than what Hyatt's done.
You also need to go ahead and also function to the fact that he's got only 1 more year left after this year of his rookie deal.
And he's going to have to figure out how much he's going to get in Canadian dollars and convert it into U.S. dollars.
Basically, the UFL is calling his name.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the one last receiver here. Bo Collins, who, of course, was the only of the undrafted rookie free agents to make the roster officially. And it's funny, if you look at the depth chart on the Giants, they have him as 3rd string to the wide receiver position they have Malik Nabers on. And they have no one in the 2nd string spot. It's a really weird the way they did the depth chart for him. I think it's safe to say the expectations should not be high. In college last year's 1 year at Notre Dame, 16 games, 41 catches for 490 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, this guy had a case of the oopsies, whatsies, dropsies like you would not believe that last preseason game. I'm still shocked he made the roster.
Yeah.
I was a big Bo Collins advocate from once they signed him. Like I thought he was my pick to make the roster. The one UDFA I had was Bo Collins once they signed him. And through the summer, the effort he put in, he's mainly going to be a special teams guy, is what I think we all expect, and that's I'm fine with that. But seeing him through camp and that last preseason game, he had a drop issue, and even not only in the Jets game but also in that Patriots game, had a bad route where it caused an interception. I don't know how much he'll play on offense, and I think that he could take if Hyatt is very bad, he could take snaps away from him. But I don't expect much from him on offense, especially not this year. But I do still like having him on the team as a special teams guy. I like what I saw in camp.
He's this year's Bryce Ford Wheaton.
He did replace Bryce Ford Wheaton because he obviously got injured.
That's exactly what he is.
That's basically what he is. And I'm going to go to this effect even. I think the Giants would rather split Theo Johnson out or go ahead and put one of the running backs out as a wide receiver before they put this kid in the field on a regular basis.
Honestly, that's probably what they will do if they have to. But like he is a special teamer. That's what he is.
Yes.
Like Bryce Ford Wheaton was last year. So I'm not mad at it. And he plays pretty solid special teams. He blocked pretty well. There were some blocking highlights I saw of him in the Jets game specifically. After that 80-yard bomb from Russ to Collins, the next play he put on a nice block, and I think Singletary ended up getting the rushing touchdown.
That's just so sad when you're like, oh, he blocks well. He's a wide receiver.
I'll take it.
I guess he does something well, but it's like, goddamn, like, you know, that's pretty crazy there. I'm going to say he gets maybe like 100 yards receiving, if that. And I wouldn't even be shocked at point blank if somebody has become available that the Giants don't make a move, and he doesn't even make it past a week or two on the roster. Like I'm that low on Collins.
And I saw Dev Ellis brought up in the chat, Little Jordan Humphrey. He is on the practice squad.
Yes, he is.
And he was a guy who, you know, I thought maybe had a chance at making it as well as that, you know, fifth receiver. So, you know, who knows? But I don't see Bo Collins playing really at all.
Yeah,
So I think 100 yards is generous, honestly.
Yeah.
Humphrey had a really good shot at making the practice.
Trying to
Trying
be
to make
nice.
it the fifth guy, but his first name ruined it all.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the tight ends here. We try to move along here because we're running overtime here. Theo Johnson, obviously, got to start off with him there. The rookie from last year, now going to his second year. Last year, 12 games, 29 receptions, 331 yards, 1 touchdown. Listen, guys, I don't think anybody even knows what Theo Johnson is still yet. He's like a secret wrapped up in an enigma, smothered in secret sauce, and we just don't know, like, what to expect of this guy. And it was like he wasn't used very much at the beginning. Then all of a sudden, you see him play. He looks like he's building up and get a little more better as things go on. And then all of a sudden, he gets hurt at the end of the year, and you don't see him for the last 5 games. So I just don't even know what to think of him still. Based on what we saw of him, I think he could be a 500 receiving yard from tight end. You know, we use the example on this show plenty of times of a Dallas Goedert kind of player. And I think that's probably the ceiling for him. That's not to say he's going to reach that, you know, but that's probably the ceiling, is that type of player. And I hate to use the Eagles as, you know, a ceiling for a guy.
Yeah.
It feels like a bad omen on a Giants podcast.
I feel like he has a little bit higher of a ceiling than that, but he's not going to hit it with the Giants like that. And he's probably going to be the guy that gets this year is like 450 yards, a couple touchdowns because he's going to be in the red zone where he's going to get utilized and everyone's blocking, everyone's covering the receivers way more. And he's going to be one of those guys that's not going to be a blocking tight end, so he's going to be on those niche downs where he's out there.
Yeah, I say 450 is a fair yardage amount for him.
Yeah.
Few touchdowns, nothing crazy, but you know, like you said, we still don't know what we have in him because we only saw small amounts of him. But at the end of his rookie year, at least at the end, up until he got hurt, he was looking better each week. So,
and I love when people are always like, "Oh, well, there's tape on this quarterback now. His second year is going to be more of a hard thing." Like they're saying that like crazy with James Daniels right now.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? There's also tape on Theo Johnson.
Yeah.
So you can't just sit there and go, "Oh, he had this 5 games, he had this many yards, put that over the whole thing, and this is what he's going to be for year 2." We don't know. We have no clue.
Yeah.
And tight end is such a difficult spot. Such a difficult spot to ever figure out. How many first rounders don't make it? How many fourth rounders do? Like, you just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's a coin flip.
Like I said, nothing would shock me with him.
So that's a Brock Bowers.
Yeah. Yeah, Brock Bowers obviously, you know, has exceeded expectations. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Who also, by the way, did it with crappy quarterback play.
That's what I said. Look at Adrian O'Connor, AOC.
Oh, gosh. All right. Let's get to the next tight end here. A guy that Rob and I point blank didn't even see making the roster. But
I thought they were going to do him dirty.
I thought they were going to, too. I'm glad they didn't. I thought he would succeed elsewhere. That's Daniel Bellinger. Last year, 17 games, 14 catches, 125 yards, 0 touchdowns. And we see a steady decline year by year with his usage. And I don't know.
Like, is it decline or I don't even want to say the other way. Decline.
Here's the thing. So look at this. Offensive snap percentage. I'm going to use that as the stat to show this. 72% his rookie year. 62% of offensive snaps in 23. Just 32 last year. Special team snaps. Just 3% his rookie year. 42 his second. 45 last year. So he's become more of a special teamer, more of an occasional player to pop out. Like I said, I don't know what he did. Or maybe he did nothing wrong, so I think it's misconstrued. I don't want to put it on him necessarily. But there's obviously a disconnect somewhere with this team and him. And I don't know what it is. And I feel like if he went somewhere else, I almost like the Giant fan in me wanted to keep him because I like him as a player. The Bellinger fan in me wanted him to go elsewhere because he's not being used right. And he's never going to be this amazing player, but he is a solid tight end too at worst.
Yeah, I don't get why they stopped using him. His rookie season, outside of there were a few games that I think the eye injury hurt him, but
yes,
there were a few games.
Christmas story action.
Yeah, that Viking game.
We'll shoot your eye out. That was the Jaguar game. I was at that one.
Yeah.
When the injury happened, yeah, I do remember that actually. Oh yeah, and you live in Florida, right? So
yes.
How just real quick, being at that game, getting to the 1 yard line, what was the feeling like?
Oh, I'm telling you, we all left like insanely high on that victory, and the Giants took over that stadium. By the way, that was a
so, and they were 6-1 after that game, I think, right? So they were riding high.
Yeah.
But with Bellinger, I would have liked to see him play more. I like that he made the team, and I just want to see him getting more snaps because, like you said, they went down each season significantly.
Yeah.
But I am happy to see, and I know Theo Johnson might have some injury now, so Bellinger could go into the season as tight end 1. Who knows?
Yeah, and listen, even as a tight end 2, like I said, I think he's a good tight end 2. I think he's a guy that we should see more often. I don't think he'll ever, like I said, be an amazing tight end in this league, but I think he's a guy that should get 200-300 yards easily as a backup at tight end.
Yeah,
and be a guy that provides decent blocking along with that, because we didn't talk about that necessarily with Theo Johnson, but that's not his thing. He's not a blocking tight end.
And let's talk about it too. Like, he came out of college, and we went, this guy's a blocking tight end. Why would they take him where they took him? Like, he's just going to be a straight blocker. And his rookie year, we all went, wow, this guy could catch the ball. What did we see in scouting? What was missed? And what did these college coaches did not see in this guy? I'm just going to have to assume, totally throwing it out there, not true, but he probably walked in and saw Daboll's wife naked or something, and now he's on the sideline.
Well, and it feels like they've tried to replace him each season. They've tried to replace him each year with Waller and then Johnson.
Yep. And now Fidone.
Yeah.
You can make that case.
Yeah, even Fidone. And
I mean, but here's a good thing. Here's an interesting one for you here. So you said, as far as, look like he can catch the ball his rookie year. And I think this is kind of a statement of where the Giants have been at lately. We were so excited for this kid, his rookie year. What do you think his reception yards per game was his rookie season?
35.
What do you think, Ryan?
Per game?
Yes. I'm looking at your eyes. Don't look at the screen there. No cheating.
No, I'm not.
No cheating.
30.
22.3. We got all excited about a guy who's catching 22 yards a game.
It's a tight end. It's not like it's a receiver.
I get it.
And listen, he's a rookie tight end. So when he comes out with 450 yards, 40 yards, whatever it was, that's great for a rookie tight end. So don't downplay it.
Yeah,
from what we expected too out of him. For what we expected,
a good catch percentage. He's been good like that. I'm just saying. I think he's at the right spot. We weren't
drafting Travis Kelce.
I think tight end 2 is where he needs to be at, and I think he's a high level second string tight end.
I agree.
Going to be dependable, make the occasional big play as far as being a security blanket in the red zone and that kind of stuff. But again, he's going to be. I thought could have gone elsewhere and been a starting tight end. He is a guy who could start somewhere else.
Yeah, he 100% is. He would be a perfect fit for that old school Patriots offense when they love the 2 tight end setup with a running back and then have a couple of receivers where they can throw the ball down the field.
As long as he doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah. Just watch out for CTE.
Yes. No killing people, no parties.
Yeah. But that's the kind of listen, if they get another guy like another Bellinger, and it was last year, they would have way more yards. Because that's what it was set up for. Block for the run, catch the ball when we don't run.
All right. We got 2 more tight ends still. Chris Manhertz, 17 games last year, 3 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. Let's be honest here. This guy is a third tackle. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's 33 years old. He's literally been in the league now for 9 years, and he's got 300 yards receiving on his career.
Yeah, and I get he's a blocking tight end. I was more of an advocate for Dulcich making the roster. I would have liked him. Just seeing what he did through camp, through a former third-round pick. The preseason led the NFL with 3 touchdowns in the preseason receiving. I think, with the questions there are in this tight end room, he could have been that pass catcher that emerges for us. But, they ended up keeping Manhertz for the blocking, and, you got to, I guess, go with it.
He could have been a contender.
Listen, the reason why he's still on this team, let's be 100% frank on this. The reason why he's still on this team, even though his name is Manhertz, not Frank,
he's funny.
Frank today. Is that offensive line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that offensive line?
I'm gonna go one level next for you. Andrew Thomas.
Until you can make that offensive line mediocre, not even good, mediocre, Manhertz has a job.
Yeah.
That's it. We need to be able to stop the pass rush. We need to be able to run the ball. That's why he still has a job. Everyone wants to be like, we should get rid of Manhertz. Well, guess what? Until we have a capable offensive line that we can depend on, he will be there as your dude that allow us to still run the ball and still throw the ball.
The second I don't have to worry about James Hudson playing left tackle, we can get rid of him. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I mean, obviously, outlook again. We can't outlook on how his blocking skills are. So we'll say he gets 30, 40 yards again, and that's it. Like, that's what he does.
There's nothing there for him.
Yeah.
Listen, he can get 7. That's not what his job is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His job is to basically be the Howard Cross.
Yeah.
That's what he is. Steb says, are you saying our offensive line is not good? If we don't have Andrew Thomas, we don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't know how this offensive line is. Without Andrew Thomas, I don't think it's good. But, with Andrew Thomas, it's still questionable even.
Yeah. Listen, I Andrew Thomas, I'm actually okay with it. That's the scary part.
Well, so on paper, yes, but we still got to see it.
So am I. And this offensive line on paper right now is going to be way better than the offensive line we've had in the past 10 years. But the problem we come down to is availability. We guys got injured nonstop. Guys get moving around. We got Evan Neal coming inside into the tackle position. Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions we still have going on that are not answered at that offensive line. So look at us with Andrew Thomas last year. We were like at best 15, maybe 14 at best at some point in the game, but like we probably average around 17, which is way better than where we were for the past 8 years at 28 at an average. So like if we can sit there and stay at that 15 average, we could get rid of Manhertz. But until we could prove that we're at that 15 and not at that 28, man, we're just going to sit there to help bring us back up.
Yeah. And if anybody hadn't heard, by the way, Dulcich did go to the Dolphins, which is where all ex-Giants tight ends go to
the practice squad,
Yeah. So he's gonna be called up the second that
Waller gets hurt.
Waller goes ahead and retires again.
Yeah. Get his rap career.
All right, we got one more tight end to talk about here, and that's of course it's Rob. No, it's Tommy Fidone. I feel like I gotta call him Tommy Boy now because we lost our DeVito. Thomas Fidone II, Esquire. Last year in Nebraska, 13 games, 373 yards, 36 catches, no touchdowns. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's a 7th round draft pick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, he was highly ranked coming out of high school. That's really all you can say.
Ranked higher than Brock Bowers, but then he tore his ACL twice back to back.
Yeah, he had some bad injuries, and he's been pretty good through camp and preseason, but I just don't see much of a role for him at least this year.
150 to 200 yards you get out of him as we lose Rob again. He just hates Fidone so much.
Honestly, if that with Fidone, I maybe even less, like 90 yards, 100 yards.
Only reason I say this is because it's not like Manhertz going to take away the yards.
Yeah, you don't have that third tight end take, and you don't know Theo Johnson and Bellinger. One gets injured, then Fidone's actually, he's playing for real. So
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. About 150 to 200 yards. That's what I say. And like I said, nothing too crazy. He'll be on special teams, and just got to hope that knee pulls out for
Stays
him.
healthy.
That's the big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get into the offensive line. We're just going to kind of do a rundown real quick here. So this is going to be kind of a little more rapid fire because, again, we can't go over stats. We can't go over that kind of stuff there. That's in that kind of category with offensive linemen. It's not like who got the most pancakes. Like, I wish there was a legit stat.
I do too. Yeah.
And that's why I know there's the haters and the lovers of PFF, but I like using PFF when it comes strictly to offensive line. I also like them for corners as well, things that you can't see with stats. So you got Andrew Thomas first, obviously, the absolute beast of the offensive line when he's healthy, but he's never healthy. I don't even know what to think of him at this point. Like that, this is not a small injury he's coming back from. People are just like, oh, he's going to get healthy at one point, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks into the season, if worst case scenario, and he'll be perfectly fine. This is a big goddamn injury he's coming back from.
He wasn't even named a captain. I think they're really trying to say, like, prove that you can stay healthy and be with this team, play, like actually be on the field with this team till we give you that captain role because they gave it to Slayton and Russ on offense. So he really just needs to stay healthy and, he could be one of the best tackles in the league like we've seen, but he just needs to stay healthy.
And I can't even guarantee you if he comes back like that he's going to go ahead and be the old Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, it might take time, a few weeks even.
Yeah.
He might never be back the same. So it's a big question mark. And shout out Deb Ellis. I see Deb's out of here.
Appreciate Deb. John Runyon Jr. And listen, we were never high on him when we signed him. But Rob and I are both like, what, really? You're overpaying for a guy.
It was an okay signing and it was overpay.
Yeah.
So
it was a desperation move. That's what it was. Let's be honest.
It was like, and I heard that news like I think it was like a few minutes after Saquon went to the Eagles, so I was already not happy.
Oh, there's Rob again. Nice of you to join us.
Yeah, sorry.
Listen, what really happened is this: if you can't tell by his shirt, he went right off for a drink real quick at the Margaritaville and came back.
Welcome to Miami.
Miami is not Margaritaville. That's Pitbullville. Totally different vibe. The Keys. That's where Jimmy Buffett goes. The Keys. Well, when he was alive. Anyway, so I'm not a fan of John Runyon Jr. I don't think he's necessarily as bad as he was last year. He dealt with his first injury in his career last year. Obviously, tried to play through it, just wasn't able to do it. He's an okay guard. That's all I got him. He's okay.
When they signed him, one of the big things I looked at, I don't think he missed a game coming into the season with the Giants. So I was like, oh, he can stay healthy. That's something we haven't seen from our offensive line in a while. And he got hurt. So
first year with the Giants. What does he do?
Yeah,
Gets hurt.
Yeah.
So
good old MetLife for you.
Oh yeah. JMS. John.
I can't stand JMS. Most hated player. Led the league in holding penalties a rookie year, and then sacks for a center last year. So I'm out on JMS.
Ryan, I need you to not hold back, okay?
Yeah.
Tell people how you feel.
I can't stand JMS. I don't know why he's still on this team. We should have. I know why he's still on this team actually because there's no other options we have. But honestly, no. Start Austin Schlottman.
We actually said, oh god, we actually said that's why we think Schlottman made the team actually because he's the only other legit center.
Honestly, Greg Van Roten. I know he's a guard. But if Neal worked out, we could have shifted him to center possibly, and we would have had a good shift there. But Neal isn't working out.
Yeah. Now, I'm willing to give JMS the beginning of the season to see what he
can do. I mean, at this point.
Because we talked about the injury thing. He's had the injury bug both years.
Yeah.
And he's, again, a guy who's played through injuries. His rookie year, he looked better in the beginning, and then as he got more and more hurt, it got worse and worse. He's still dealing with the injury from his rookie year and his second year.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah,
I had such high hopes coming out of college with him, so I'm willing to give him the chance. But this is the third strike, and this is the last one. Like if you suck this year, you're done.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you, Drew. A lot of Giants fans are
in Florida.
Touche. A lot of Giants fans are very rough on him because we haven't had a good center in a very long time. And we went out, we spent some good capital of the draft.
We're so excited.
And JMS comes out, college, bad offensive line. He's playing decent for what it is being a freshman out there. doesn't talk about injury. Like, we don't really know about injury. And, like, you see the decline, but he still plays through. So he's got the heart to play through it. And it's just like, he just
He
doesn't have
never
the skill.
regained.
He's got heart, the weakest power of all the Captain Planet Planeteers.
Listen, are you Planeteer? Hey, get out of here. No, but
the power is yours.
But there hasn't been.
Ryan's like, what the hell is this show even? Do you even know what that show is, Ryan?
No.
Actually, I didn't think so.
I'm going along with it. I'm going
You're
along.
going. Listen. Look up Captain Planet. It was like big in the early '90s.
Once the show ends, I'll watch it.
I actually watched College Humor with Michael Chit.
I was about to say the Don Cheadle version afterwards.
Don
You have to watch. Yeah, Don Cheadle made a version of it afterwards. College Humor. It was hilarious, but yeah, it was basically this cartoon show supposed to teach kids to care about the planet and stuff like that. And for some reason, we all got into it as kids.
Yeah, it's an environmentalist show in the early '90s.
Bunch of hippies.
Superhero.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
But
yeah, you're probably better off. But still, we're going to tell you to watch it anyway, so you can enjoy the chaos and BS that is that. Basically, think of it like if Power Rangers was a bunch of hippies. Like the kids all came together with their rings, and one had heart, one had water, one had earth, or whatever, and then they'd shoot their rings up, and together it would make Captain Planet.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so you see a steady decline from JMS, and there's a lot of things.
Decline. I saw okay to start, and then poop since.
That's still a decline.
No, but I mean, like, I'm not
if
saying
you're shit and you turn into diarrhea, that's still a decline.
Like, I'm seeing you get worse and worse. I'm not seeing that. I saw a step down, and then a steady stream of crap ever since.
It's still a slant.
No, there's no slant. He's leveled off. He's leveled off at poop.
So if
he sucks, is the way to put
running
it.
off, and if it's level, it goes nowhere.
I like we're analyzing the amount of shit that we have to deal with the JMS. Let's move on. Greg Van Roten, the unsung hero of last year's offensive line, playing every single game, playing decent. And again, he came here from Carmen Brasillo being over in Las Vegas with the Raiders and all. He's a little older, a little long in the tooth. Let's be honest, we didn't really want to have him as a starter. We were hoping, like you said earlier there, Ryan, we wanted Evan Neal to kind of take that spot, but we should have known better because talk about JMS being pure poop, and that's pretty much what Evan Neal is. So
it's diarrhea.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. So Greg Van Roten starts again. I'm okay with it. He's a solid guy.
Good veteran presence. That's really all there is.
It's hard to get excited, hard to get upset.
He'll do the job. He'll do the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a little less, but he'll just get the job done.
Exactly. Jermaine Illuminor.
Oh, both of them just had babies as well. Not together, but
Jermaine Illuminor and Greg Van Roten.
No, that doesn't mix. But Jermaine Illuminor had his own child, and Greg Van Roten had his own child.
Wait,
their respective wives.
From each.
Yeah. With their respective wives.
I don't want to answer.
How does this work? Someone explain the person piece.
It doesn't. With their
Is it like the movie
wives.
Junior? I want to have my baby.
Wait, they have respective wives? How do you get a respective wife? Wives are usually very disrespectful. Jace knows which one birthed the child.
It would probably be Roten. If anything, it'd be Roten.
Okay, there we go. So anyway, Jermaine Illuminor, right tackle. Listen, this is the guy who was probably the saving grace, I think, of a lot of our offensive line last year. Like, did really good at right tackle. We tried like 10 other people at left tackle. They finally moved him over to left tackle, which when we said in the beginning, Rob and I both were like, just move Illuminor over. He can play both sides. And they finally did, and he played a decent left tackle. Wasn't again, same as Greg Van Roten. Wasn't amazing, but was serviceable, was good, and compared to what we had with the Chris Hudsons of the world and all, that was very good for us at that point.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with what Illuminor.
Listen, he was the guy in the 1920s that went up a steel mill with his lunchbox, sat down, ate a sandwich, and went to work.
The 1920s, he says. Wow.
Pretty good contract for him too. So I'm not.
Yeah, we should extend him right now. I'm sorry. We should extend. We should have already extended him.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah, no, I like Illuminor.
All right, now we get to the poop section of the program. James Hudson III, I'm still trying to figure out this contract. 2 years, $12 million for somebody who absolutely sucked in Cleveland and absolutely has sucked so far here. I don't want to see this kid on the field whatsoever. I'm sorry. I want nothing to do with him.
He has that
Relief.
I mean, yeah, I've heard through camp that he was holding his own at first, and now through the preseason it hasn't looked as good as what people were saying. But he just starts fights for no reason too, which is kind of what you need sometimes at camp and in practice. But
Yep.
you got to at least have pretty good play to back it up, and he's kind of just a guy who's there pushing everyone around.
Yeah, until it actually has to come a game time, and then he can't get his hands on somebody.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
he doesn't fight with the opposing team. He doesn't fight with the opposing team.
Exactly. And the second half of the poop section here, Evan Neal, who quite frankly, I've just given up on at this point.
I started to gain somewhat hope back through camp, and then I was like, wait till the pads come on and they start playing more through the preseason. He missed the first preseason game, and he's looked bad as he's played. So I have no more hope with him.
Listen, they moved the man. There was Drew and I said it.
Glimmer of hope.
I mean, really that
A smidge.
Yeah, not even.
A glimmer is too much. But we've said, put him on the inside. Put him on the inside. It's hard to get around a guy on the inside.
Yep.
Put him on the inside.
Should have happened.
It's not that hard.
But so I was watching him in practicing, and everything.
Yeah.
I was like,
He's just not good, guys.
I
Let's
don't
just call
feel
it what it is.
Yeah.
He's a bust.
For a big guy, he's a giant teddy bear, and I don't feel confident with the pads on. And the pads came on, and
he should have been moved to guard earlier.
Yes, he should.
They didn't do it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
He's just been bad ever since. So him, JMS, and Hyatt are three guys that I've just completely given up on.
Yes, and I think that what they should do is they should set up a griddle on the sideline and let him flip burgers for the rest of the team during the game.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, just prepare him for his future career.
Yeah, 3 failed Joe Shane picks, and there's many more. But
like I said, we've said before, we were actually talking about last year before the draft, saying how Joe Shane was like a horrendous drafter, and it's amazing how good last year's draft class was, and how it looks like so far this one is, considering how bad he looked the first couple times. That's for damn sure.
That first draft in 2022, 11 draft picks, and just a bunch of them awful.
Crap. So let's talk about one of the good ones here. We like Marcus Bowe, who Rob and I liked him coming out. We said we thought he had like a kind of a red shirt year there, get him up to snuff weight wise, let him build up and learn a little bit there, and next year be kind of his year.
Yeah,
he looked good in preseason, guys. And I'm sorry, and I saw the comment here. I think Jay Snow is the one who said it there. Here we go. Bowe looks better than Hudson. Damn straight. If Andrew Thomas can't go, we're still not sure Andrew Thomas will be ready to go for week 1. If he can't go, point blank, Bowe should be out there.
I don't think he will be, though.
No.
I think they're going to go with the veteran. And
I know,
they
which
shouldn't.
is crazy.
But that is what they would do. But I mean, Bowe's looked very impressive through the preseason so far. And I know it's, backups, but even the Bills' first team defense, he was actually playing pretty well against. But,
and he's played both left and right tackle.
Yeah, no, he was better at right tackle, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember seeing.
Yeah. And that's why if Andrew Thomas can't go, I'd actually like to have him at right tackle and put a little more over left tackle.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But
yeah. I agree. And I understand why you would put Hudson first. You want to put the veteran in there. You don't want to ruin the confidence of Bowe, who's just coming out, and he's looking very promising.
Bowe knows confidence.
I can see them going just in the middle at halftime. At halftime, Hudson sucks, and they put Bowe in.
Yeah. Ryan knows that reference. Bo Jackson is well known.
Yeah.
Bo knows.
You gave me a look at my show now.
I was barely old enough to know who Bo knows.
That's what they said always. Bo knows. Bo knows. I don't know why. I don't know what Bo knows exactly and why that was the phrase back then. I was like diapers at that point, and I'm old, so it is what it is. But yeah, Bowe point blank should be starting if Andrew Thomas can't start. But I have a feeling Hudson's going to be coming out anyway. And then this is why we have Manhertz, because Manhertz is going to have to basically shadow him in the shadow nose.
Yep.
Yep.
Joshua Azudu, who's starting
Azudo
off
equals
injured, but they
doo-doo.
still have him on the roster, so we got to talk about him.
On the IR.
They still have him as a tackle, by the way, the depth chart. That's the scary part. Can we just move this kid to guard like he was supposed to be? Like, I feel like we need to let him go elsewhere so they can put him in his proper position. I don't know. What if the Giants trying to force this kid to be a tackle? He is a goddamn guard.
Yeah. And he's looked impressive at guard through the summer. So
yeah,
and I still don't. I'm not saying he's going to be good. I still got to see it in the regular season, but there was hope, and now he got injured. So I don't have much to say on his.
I didn't have any hope when we drafted him. I was like, really? No, this is not the right move. Yeah. So I'm okay with him being on the roster here for the year. I think he, put him at guard, hopefully not tackle, and hopefully we don't ever need to see him. But if we can, at least he's got some experience. He's played alongside a lot of these guys, last year as well. So it could be worse.
Yep.
But some of his backup offensive line definitely needs to be upgraded next year, for damn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking at backup, if you're looking at backup, and especially if you're putting him on the inside, you're looking like Azudu's like someone's they're the Swiss Army knife, the one that you get that's very dull, it's not sharp, and isn't really good, but could fill a lot of positions if you need be.
Yeah.
He's a backup role.
Yep. Aaron Stinney, the guy who is a lunch pail guy. That to me is a lunch pail guy. Like, he's a boring player. Let's be honest. Like, he's not
literally
a baller.
A backup.
He's not a crazy guy, but he is just a guy that sits there. He's ready to go if you need him.
Depth
plays decent. Doesn't play great. Doesn't play horrible. We know he can be part of a winning team. He's won a Super Bowl when he had to go start with the Bucs a couple of years ago. Decent run blocker at times as well. So listen, I can't hate it. I like having Stinney. I'm glad he's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
The last guy, Austin Schlottman. Sloppy Joes.
Super sloppy.
Put him in center.
That's what I was saying before. Like, he only made this roster because he can play center. That's what I really think. He played last couple years ago with the Vikings, was a starting center when Bradbury was out. Did a decent job there. That's 100% why he made this roster. He does play guard as well. It is what it is. They just wanted to have a guy that actually is a true center, I think, because, again, like we said, do we trust anybody to play guard, to move Greg Van Roten over to center? And I'll tell you point blank, the guy who actually, if you have to make that move, I'd want is Bo. Move him over to the right guard because he can play that position.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to keep going to swappies and going guard, tackle, left, right, all this stuff that they're doing with them, and potentially not develop him truly at one particular position. But I think he'd be good if we got to do that scenario. But if that doesn't work out that way, Schlottman will probably be the guy.
Yeah, and they kept him over a few other guys like Kubas and Morrissey. So,
thank God.
Yeah, and he can be that center. Out. He can be that center if JMS fails again or fails at the beginning of the year or just does what he's been doing.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's the end of it. We've gone through. Oh my God, we're 2 hours and 8 minutes into this, guys.
Way past my bedtime.
Listen, point blank. Before we go, we got to pop in here in the chat the link here to Ryan's Big Blue podcast, guys. If you like what you heard, and if you didn't, shame on you. I only put it on YouTube. Hold on. Let's put on all the destinations, which means just pop twice on YouTube.
I appreciate it.
Listen, give him a like, give him subscribe. You're how long into this now, Ryan? I know this is your first year doing this here, so
about 5 months.
Yes, you guys, you're getting on the ground floor. The ground floor.
Yeah.
You already missed the ground floor with us. That was like 3 years ago. So, you got the chance here. And you got a lot of good guests I've seen. So you had Jordan Ron on before as well, too. That's a good get. Congrats on what you're doing, man. We've been watching you. We enjoy your program ourselves as well. So, like I said, if you guys haven't already, go ahead. Ryan, give me your elevator pitch. Tell them about your show.
I'll pay you to subscribe. No.
No.
It's
Us
a good
or
show.
The audience.
Yeah, we already subscribed. Where's my money?
It's one of the new Giant shows out there. I post not daily, but multiple times a week, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a preview, recap, live post-game show. So there's a lot of stuff coming up, and it's only going to get bigger and better as we go. And shout out to the two giant goofballs, Drew and Rob, and all the other Giants content creators that have had me on their show and helped me grow.
It's a community, man. It's a community.
Yeah, man.
It's nice. Like all the content creators, we all get along for the most part. There's a couple of people that people may talk trash about behind the scenes, but for the most part,
I'm not going to say a name.
Everybody gets a little. Listen, well, it's okay. No
True.
one has to mention 366. It's okay, but it is what it is. But again, appreciate you coming on, Ryan. You're always welcome back. So whenever you want to come back on to shoot us a message,
Got to have you guys on as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. We're happy to come on, man.
Yep.
I don't know if you'll be happy to have us on, but we'll be happy to come on.
Yeah. We'll set it
guys,
up.
Appreciate you guys all for listening in. Again, this is 2 hours and almost 15 minutes here. This is one of the longest shows we've done in a long time. Minus post game and in game coverage at that point, obviously. But appreciate everybody for listening in, for watching. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and soon game days as well.
Sundays.
On YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, Craigslist. He loves Craigslist. But his second favorite is my LinkedIn profile. You might still do Craigslist. I don't know.
I think so.
Anyway, we're also, of course, the next day we're available on all the audio podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there, guys. And I got to give a little shout out to the audio listeners. I always feel bad because, you guys aren't live with us at that point there, and I want to make sure you guys feel like you're part of the experience because you are. You're goofballs with us. You're good. We're like 45 downloads away from breaking our record for the third month in a row on audio listens there. So, guys,
much
appreciate
you guys
for whether you're with us from the get-go or you're brand new to that part. Really do appreciate you guys as well. Again, guys, we will see you guys Monday when we do the breakdown on the defensive players. Then we're going into our game week scheduling here. So that means Wednesday will be our preview of the matchup there, and Thursday will be our picks episodes there. And, of course, then Sundays we're into game time. Game time! We're getting there. Oh, yeah.
Almost there.
So appreciate you guys for watching, listening as always. Appreciate again Ryan for popping on with us there and staying here for what seems like 7 hours. We've been doing this. It feels like we've been on forever tonight. Appreciate you guys again for watching. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man!
G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please,